Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Tina Marie, and if you are new here, welcome. And if you like fragrance and beauty content, don't forget to subscribe on the button below and Marie the Artist. As well, press that notification bar just in case you want to see more videos like this. And if you are already a subscriber and you're here again to watch my videos, thank you so much for supporting my channel. I really love to create this content for all of you. And I am here to review the No Other Fenty Beauty Soft Lip Foundation and also the Natasha Denona foundation powder. So if you guys want to see how I created this look today, then keep on watching. So today I'm going to be reviewing 3 products, and the first one is going to be StriVectin's Anti-Wrinkle and Blurring Primer. And this one is to be able to help with some texture that you might have, like fine lines and wrinkles, and also it helps with blurring any type of what's it called, pores and all that. So I am going to be using this before I actually start putting the new Fenty Beauty foundation in soft lit, as well as the Natasha Denona powder foundation, which I am also going to be reviewing today. So I am going to be putting this one first, and I already tried this out and I really like it. I do see that it does help a little bit with the fine lines and wrinkles, and especially my pores that I have right here, because I have combination to oily skin on my T-zone. So that's, you know, this has worked better than other primers that I have used in the past. So I'm going to use the pea size to be able to put strategically around my nose and on the sides of my nose where I usually have texture. And as well, I am going to take another dot just to put it on my forehead, where I usually have also like my 11s. And, you know, we're aging, you know, like everybody hits an age where it starts happening. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it right here on my crow's feet just a little bit, and on this side. And this feels a little bit like, I don't know, it has like a double texture to it because it feels a little bit hydrating and oily. But at the same time, it feels like silicone-y and a little bit powdery when it dries down. Like it does feel like it seals in and locks up the primer in your skin. But yeah, it first starts out as very hydrating and very like serum-y, and then it turns into like this powder velvety texture. And so yeah, so I apply that already and I try to put it where I actually need it. And now I am going to be putting Fenty Beauty on one side, and then we are going to be doing Natasha Denona on the other side. But first I'm going to use my concealer. And I know a lot of you use this after you put your foundation, but for now, like just to cut time, I'm going to use Say Concealer, and this is in the shade 3. And I really like this color. It's a cool undertone, and the reason why is because I have a little bit of, you know, darkness right here that's kind of like in that purplish undertone, and this is gonna like really cancel that. And I am just going to take my BK Beauty brush in 110, and we are going to pat all the way up onto the corner right here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And the reason why I'm not blending this side right now is because that's where I want it to be more concentrated in the sense of pigment and all that, because that's where I have more of the darkness happening. And then now I'm just going to go in and just tap very lightly and then do it inside right here, because sometimes this part can be a little bit more purple or create a shadow. And that's what we're going to do. And I really like Say's concealer because it's very serum-y. It's very like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a gel-like texture, and it dries like a satin finish, which I really like. See how beautiful that looks? And it doesn't cake up underneath your eyes, and it doesn't create like any type of creasing, at least not that much on me. I know I have tried a lot of very good concealers, and it just doesn't work out for me because it does crease. and also because it feels like it sits on top of my skin. And this one doesn't do that really, and I really can appreciate that now that I'm 41. And if you ever want to try out a concealer, this one is a must-have. And I think I reviewed this on my last video. So that's how it looks. So it does kind of like lift the eye, and it kind of brings forward whatever indentations you might have underneath your eye, especially from aging. We lose fat right here. So that's my problem. So it brings it forward, like the volume of the place where you have that hollowness, and it makes it look a little bit better. So there we go. And now I am going to be using my Fenty Beauty New Soft Lit Natural Luminous Longwear Foundation, and this is in the shade 185, and this shade was recommended online in Sephora website. And I took a chance because I could have easily gotten the 150, which is the olive undertone, but at the same time it was olive warm, and I'm more on the olive cool. So I just decided I'm just going to go in with the recommendations, and I'm glad I did because this one actually works well with me. It's in the like light, medium, neutral spectrum, and I tend to be on the light spectrum of skin. However, Fenty Beauty tends to be more on the lighter side because they have a wide range of like shades. And I believe with this one they have maybe like, don't quote me on this, I'm gonna put it right here how many shades she has on her website. But yeah, this one they run pretty light, so I suggest kind of like getting yourself matched in store, or match yourself in store. And I'm just shaking it, shake, because it is very liquidy and sometimes the color is not even, so I'm shaking it. Okay, so now I'm going to put it behind my hand. I'm going to do one pump, and because I'm just going to do one side, and I'm just going to put my finger and tap right here, tap on this side and on my chin, and then the rest of it I'm just going to kind of put it on my cheek. And I am going to take a new foundation brush that I have here, which is one of my favorites. It's BK Beauty 101, and this one's an angle brush where it hugs your face like perfectly. So we're just gonna tapping motions, and I'm just gonna work and build up the coverage of this foundation as we progress on the application, and that way I could show you how this is going to end up looking. Now with the primer, I put it on so that you guys can see how it also works with the foundation, and I already tried it with or without. And my take with the combination of the primer with the foundation is that the primer makes this foundation, for me at least on my T-zone, last 3 to 4 hours longer without shine. And it maintains your face with a satin finish because it's not fully matte. And that's what I like, especially when you reach like your 40s, or at least towards the end of your 30s, your skin starts to change drastically. And so completely matte foundations can look very cakey, even if you're oily skin or combination skin, and it will like sit like not so beautifully on your fine lines as much as a satin finish or a luminous finish. Now for me, since I am combination skin and also aging, I do have to use a satin finish so that it could create a balance between those two problems that I have, which is aging and also combination skin. And you know, you have it. So this is how it looks like right now with one layer of Fenty Beauty foundation, and it's radiant, but it's not oily. Now here I didn't put the primer, so as you can see, this is the part where I'm a little bit on the dry side, but it lays pretty like luminous, but not too luminous where it looks oily. It looks almost on the verge of being a satin finish. And then my forehead remains the same type of texture. And the reason is because I use the primer. If I didn't use a primer, this would be a little bit more on the luminous oily side, which I didn't want. So I'm creating that evenness in texture with those two combinations, the primer and the foundation. So this is very beautiful with one layer. Now I am going to be using another layer of the Fenty Beauty foundation, and we're gonna see if we can work up the coverage. But I mean, for me, I would just use one pump. I wouldn't use so much of it because I feel like this would be perfect for me just for an everyday, even to go out. I usually don't like the super full coverage foundation. If not, I just go with the medium coverage. So I'm just doing that and just patting it. We're not going to be swiping the foundation like with everything else that I have been telling you. With the technique that I use is patting. The reason is because if you swipe, you're going to remove the product instead of actually building the product and blending the product. The only way that, the only reason why you would kind of like swirl your foundation is if you have a super fluffy long bristle brush like this one. This is more of a powder brush, but I like to use this one to finish up my complexion routine, especially with foundation. When I'm done and I know that everything's completely even, I go back with this and then I just kind of like buff it ever so slightly, not putting too much pressure, so that I can even out any foundation out and make it more blurring and also very airbrushed. And then I tap and then I can swirl, but ever so slightly. Remember how we have to hold our brush? We hold it towards the end. That's the reason why these are long. We never hold it like this, because the more pressure you put in it, you're pushing the bristles and it's not doing anything. You're just scratching your makeup, and this would also damage the bristles. So we hold on back and then we rotate and rub, because you're using the surface of the foundation brush. Now, this is it. So from what I see is that it does create that medium coverage, but it doesn't become that super full coverage, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with that. And yeah, I do like this foundation. I think it's beautiful. It kind of reminds me so much of the House Lab foundation. And I really like that finish a lot, but I feel like I like this one a little bit more because the House Lab, I feel like it could sometimes sit on top of my skin, depending how my skin is that day. If it's hot and sunny and my skin gets like oily or sweaty, I feel like it starts to break the foundation and sit on top of my skin, which I don't like all the time. And this one, what I noticed, it does hold on longer with looking uniform in the sense of texture. Now I am going to be reviewing now the Natasha Denona powder foundation, which is blurring, and it's Flex Technology Hybrid Powder. And I think I'm interested in trying this out. This was going to be my first impression because I like anything that's blurring because have texture skin, right? And I feel like a lot of us do. And I want to show you the packaging. Now, the packaging is very sleek. It's very neutral and skin-like color. And I think that's very beautiful and interesting. And this is in the shade R2. The reason why I got this one is because her makeup line, it tends to be more on the warmer or orange side. And I try to avoid those tones. And also, I like it to be more on the rosy side because in spite the fact that I am olive, I am also in the cooler side of the olive. And also this is very brightening for the under eyes. And this is kind of like reminiscent to the Cherry Blossom from Huda Beauty. The tone pink that she uses to kind of like brighten under the eye or the face area. That's a concept that I've always liked to use for my powders, especially if I'm going to be putting it in key areas. And this one has a slight pink undertone. It is light, So it's not going to be like completely pink and out there. This is more of that subtle pink, almost skin tone finish. So it looks like this. And it does open from the bottom. So let me show you if that shows up in the camera. So it opens up like this. And it has another mirror, and then it has a sponge. But I'm not going to be using the sponge today, because from what I've seen in other reviews of other people is that this doesn't give you very high coverage. It gives you more of that natural finish. But I want to show you guys how this can look if you want a full coverage. And I know a lot of you ladies like that medium to full coverage. So I did buy a brush from BK Beauty that's more dense and is specific for powder foundation. So I'll be back to get it. So I'm here. I have it in this little packaging, and they do have a Mother's Day discount, which I didn't know that they had, and I didn't put a discount in it because I got my brushes a day before that even happened. So it is what it is. So I got 2 brushes, but I'm going to be using this one today. This one is the 105, and I'm just going to open it up really quick and show you how this looks. So this is more on the flat side, and it's more dense. And that's what I'm going to be using today to be able to show you guys how this powder foundation looks. So I'm just going to get this and tap it. And this is how it looks like. So I'm just going to tap it all over my face and see how the coverage works. And from what I'm seeing, I do like it. It is kind of blurring in the camera, but it's not giving me that coverage where I need it. See how I have texture right there? Even with the primer, I feel like the coverage is not completely full coverage. I feel like it's in the light medium coverage with a brush, especially a dense brush. Yeah, I feel like the way I would use this is setting my makeup, and I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to take my huge brush that I have here. This is BK Beauty 102. So I'm going to use that and tap and go underneath my eye and my face. And I think I like that more. But see how this one's kind of uneven because I didn't put foundation. It's not really grabbing in areas that I need, like even here, like I noticed that. So yeah, so I'm thinking this is gonna be kind of like one of those that if you want to touch up, this would be fine. It would be perfect. I mean, I do see that it does blur better than the, what's it called, the Hourglass. Remember I bought the Hourglass? Well, this one's better than the Hourglass because Hourglass wasn't really blurring at all. And I feel like this one is. When you put it on, it is blurring, especially on camera. But I don't think this alone does any justice if you want coverage. I feel like this is more for those people that actually are used to having the powder foundations and they just kind of like that light coverage, or to even set your makeup. So that's the way I'm going to be using it, but not on its own, like as you can see. And let me just use the sponge for the sake of you ladies. Let's see how this works. So I grab it like this. I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. And apply. See if that kind of helps. So this one kind of helps a little bit, but what I noticed, it still doesn't give me coverage in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you have to really pack the product in order to get that coverage and then pat it. I think that might work, but I feel like this is not going to be long lasting. This is not going to hold on to your face longer than a foundation for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to do it under my eyes. All right, so this is how it looks like. And I'm just going to even this out so I don't look crazy during the day. So I'll be back and I'll show you guys how this looks. All right, so I'm back. So I'm trying to set my makeup like this to show you guys that when you set it with this one, it does give you that blurring effect. And from what I noticed too is it gives you that radiance, but like that satin finish that is in the verge of being like a radiant texture type of powder, and I like it. I think this gives you that very skin-like finish, which I really like, and it looks very beautiful. Now I'm gonna finish my makeup to show you the final look. So here I am. This is the final look, and I can appreciate the texture of the skin, how it looks even. It looks still kind of the satin, slightly radiant finish. I feel like this is a perfect combo to be able to create a very beautiful look for a special event like a wedding, for I don't know, if you're going to go out with your significant other for a special event, you just never know, a black tie event. This is such a beautiful combination. I'm going to take off my glasses so that you guys can see even the concealer that I use. Like I said, the Fenty foundation and the Natasha Denona setting powder or foundation powder. I use it as a setting powder, and I think it works better as a setting powder more than it does as a foundation powder. And I like how radiant my skin still looks. And yeah, so I feel like that's the way you can use these products, and I do think they are worth buying, especially the Natasha Denona's powder, that foundation powder. I think it works better than the Hourglass powder that she just released. I feel like that one didn't really work out for me, and I feel like it was too expensive. And I am going to be linking all these products, the cost and all that on the description box below. Thank you guys for following, for being my viewers. As you can see, I'm still not wearing eye makeup right now. I just put some eyeshadow, but I'm trying to still kind of go through the healing process of my chronic eye disease. So I am going to be doing a video of an update about that soon, but I just want to get these product review videos out the way, out of the side, because there is a lot of like products that are coming out right now. They're new, and I just kind of want to just review them for all you ladies that actually want to try these out. So I am still pending on that video, but it will be out soon. So thank you guys for following and for being my viewers. Happy weekend. Bye-bye.